Well, hey, I'd like to share a little information with you. My name's Everett Schilling. I'm out of Gillette, Wyoming. And I'd like to throw something out in front of you. My background was basically trucking and construction. But the one thing that I've always been after is control. And control of my time, control of my finances, control of our future, being able to do what I want anytime I want. And that was the biggest issue for me. The problem with that was I was in basically a linear business format, and which means that we're trading time for money. If you're in a 40, 50, 60-year plan, that means that you're basically giving up time for money. And the problem with that is either you've got too much time and you're broke, or you've got no time and you've got the money you want, but no time to use the toys that you've spent it on. And the other problem with this is these are the ones that AARP has reported that 95% of these right here are people that are not going to retire. They're just not. They're going to work till the day they die, basically. So I needed to get on the leverage side of life, being able to, residual income, an income that comes in regardless if you're here or not. And what introduced me to that whole thing was I was given a book years ago by Robert Kiyosaki, and he was talking about the Cashflow quadrant, basically how it works. And it introduces an industry that I didn't understand. And what he talked about was there's 4 different ways that we make money in our economy. This side is based off of linear income, that 40, 50-year plan. This side is based off of residual income or passive income, which is basically a 2 to 5 year plan. Over here is where biggest share of people fall in, either as an employee or as a self-employed person. Now, there's nothing wrong with either one. S also stands for specialist, soloist, stuff that you do individual or on your own. Now, this side was big business or investors. Big business, somebody does $10 million a year in revenue, or they've got 500 employees or more. But the key to the thing is a 2 to 5 year plan, but it takes a lot of capital. That's the scary part about it. If you're getting involved in something like that, you're going to put out a lot of risk. That's the issue. So how do we get, what was explained is how do we get from this side of life to this side, and from here to here and become one of these people, and then eventually become one of those big time investors. And the issue of it is without having the risk, there's only one way you can do it, and that's the MLM companies. And they got great potential behind them and low risk. You just got to sell out to a mentorship and a system, because without that you fail. How do you build a multi-million-dollar business without a system of education and the mentorship of people that's already done it? You can't. There's just no way to do that. So to show you how big of a deal that is, Amway's been out since 1959. They're a $9 billion a year company. They've got over 5 million distributors in over 200 countries. That's how big of a deal they are. Avon started in 1886. In 1886, and they're a $6 billion company. Same thing, between 5 and 6 million distributors in over 100 countries. Herbalife's been out since 1980. All right? They're right around $2 to $4 billion company, and they do, let's see, I think they're $4 billion, and they have right at 2 million distributors, 2.4 million if I remember right, and they're in over 80 countries. Now, the industry with those guys is their payout is approximately 40%, right in there, 30s to 40% payout. So if that's a $9 billion company, approximately 40% of that goes to the field. Now, that's a big deal. That's the motivated and the driven people is what that is. Now, LifeVantage actually is a $200 million company. We have 80,000 distributors doing this as a business in less than 20 countries, all right? So that makes this a huge deal. And here's the thing about timing, though. What Robert Kiyosaki talked about in this deal is it takes 6 things to make this a big deal. One of the most important is timing. So timing has to be on your side. Because right now, Amway's a great company, but would it be one of those that you jump into? If you went to Walmart and you were sitting there and you talked to 100 people that day, have you ever heard of Amway? You ever heard of Amway? How many people do you think would say, yes, I've heard of Amway. Biggest share of them. How many people have heard of Avon? Biggest share of them, yes. So, but how many, if you said, hey, have you ever heard of LifeVantage? You'd have a few, you'd have a handful, but you wouldn't have 95% of them saying yes. So timing's huge. LifeVantage started in 2003, sold at GNC's, Rite Aids, Little Vitamarts, things like that. And they were averaging about $3 million a year-ish in sales, about a bottle and a half per store per month. And they were struggling. They were being compared to a typical antioxidant. 2005 rolls around, and ABC News had heard a claim. And that claim was, on the product side of this, that they had heard that a university in Colorado had been studying it, and they had found that there was a natural product that was reducing oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days in every single mammal that they tested it on. And this caught the attention of ABC News and actually several other companies that were trying to get their foot in the door to report on it. And none of them were allowed in except for ABC. Now, typically, ABC doesn't show up on your doorstep to do a positive report. And they showed up, and actually what happened was when John Quinones took a blood test on national TV, he showed a reduction of 45% in less than 2 weeks. That caught the attention of medical universities from all over the world. And that caught their attention enough to start making phone calls and going, hey, wait a second. We want to look at what you have there. We're not completely 100% sure that we believe or understand or anything else, but we want everything you have so we can look at it. And when that happened, things started to pop out, which wasn't fast enough. The problem with that is we picked up $5 million in orders from that ABC primetime, but the ingredients, the natural ingredients that are in Protandim, weren't exactly grown in a garden. And so they couldn't quite ship. So by 2008, an idea was introduced to LifeVantage to change this into a word-of-mouth business and think about putting it into an MLM format. And that's when in 2009, this was turned into a network marketing company. Now, timing-wise, this is a huge deal. If you're ever looking at an S-curve, you can do this with Microsoft, you can do this with Best Buy, you can do this with Walmart, Nu Skin, Herbalife, whatever. They all start at a certain place, and then they go through a pioneering stage here at the bottom. Then they hit a certain point, about right in here, and then they begin to launch into what they call momentum or critical mass. This is where 80% of growth happens, is right through here. When they hit here, from there on, it's too late. Then you get about 2 to 7% growth at that point. Now, LifeVantage started in 2009, and they shared it. They still left the product at GNC. They picked up a group of people. They were willing to go out and share that ABC primetime with people and find out what they wanted from it. And here's the funny thing was, GNC did their average. The MLM part of it, LifeVantage, they did $11 million in their first year. So what they did is they came back, and they decided to pull GNC and walk away from it. They were done with the retail market. So they launched the business right now, but here's the thing. The stats show that it takes about 120 to 150,000 people to launch a company off the ground floor. We set at 80,000 right now in less than 20 countries, puts us about right here. And it takes 1 million distributors to hit $1 billion. Okay, so where do you think you are? You're an opportunity of a lifetime. It's something huge because this company is at the forefront of biohacking. What we're doing is we're biohacking the aging code through nutrigenomics. And what that means is we're using natural nutrition to get into the body and use its own genetics, its own workup to heal itself. So back to that saying, if the body causes it, the body can fix it. And that's the general idea of it. And that's becoming, just lately, just here not too long ago, today's show reported that the nutrigenomics personal health is looking to be a $600 billion industry. Is that not huge? That's monstrous. Now, here's the thing. If the timing-wise, all that stuff is exactly where you want it to be, let me ask you a question. If you were to get into the business, it's kind of bled through here a little bit, This is an income disclosure right here. And what it is, it shows, because we're a publicly traded company, LFVN is the ticker symbol on NASDAQ, okay? LFVN. And you can check everything on numbers, all of it. So there are basically 12 ranks in this company. And right now there's 11 ranks basically that people have hit. This is the average income right here. The ones we've highlighted are 580, 2551, 11292, and 42,641 a month. These are per monthly average if you look right here. If you got in, which one of these would help your household more than anything? Let's say 2551 would really make a big difference in your house. And then, with that being said, if you're going to make an extra 2551 a month in your household, how much time, hypothetically speaking, how much time would you be able to put into that on a daily basis or weekly basis to make that happen? Now, let's say you really want to do something with this and you want that 11,000 a month or that 42,000 a month. Let me ask you a question. How much would you pay for a business that can net you $11,000 or $42,000 a month as a Pro 9 on average? How much would you pay for that business? What if I told you that you could get into this business and have potential through mentorship and training programs and have that chance, if you're motivated and driven and you're willing to work hard and give it a 2 to 5 year commitment and have that possibility that business costs $1,250 and you get $1,800 worth of value along with that. Is that not a big deal? Check out McDonald's sometimes and it doesn't make near that on a monthly basis in residual income. So now, the business is $1,250 to get in. It's about profit. Let's get 5 people in it. The franchise to you, when you get somebody in to help train them, you get $400 for that right up front. That equals $2,000 right there to get in the business right then. Or that's what you make on it. We bring in 5 people. Now, on a monthly basis, we're really excited about it. On the multi-level part of it is your commissions and percentages on a monthly. You get paid 9 levels deep, 43% of everything sold as you become qualified. 2%, 5, 9. Let's look at 9. Let's say in the first one you bring in 5 people. The company says we'll do your payroll for you, shipping, manufacturing, production. You'll have basically 200 people in corporate that work for you, making this whole thing work, and you just base this out of your home. The only thing I require is you need to order 200 points worth of product on a monthly basis, okay? And you're going to get a lot of customers from this because of the ABC Primetime and because the product is that incredible. Now, here's the thing is, anytime you get a customer, you get 40% of their first order. Then it becomes a percentage. And this is where it falls in line right here. Right here on your third level, add these together, that's an extra $31,000 a year and something you started part-time. How many people can use an extra 31 grand a year part-time? Now, the last one I'm going to show you is the one that excited me more than anything. And this is the Elite Bonus Pool. You get they take 4% of gross sales and they put it in a pot every month. They take these people here, these 7s through 10s, and they start to share it with everybody. So the 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s will get a share of 1% of everything sold in the world. Is that a big deal? Could you imagine? Remember Amway? Amway doing $9 billion a year. And do you imagine taking 4% of that on a monthly basis of what they make and throw it in this pot? Next share goes to 8s, 9s, and 10s, 9s and 10s and 10s. And the last thing is this, is the system. Here's all you got to do. This is what we train. We've been taught by the mentors in this group, is show that ABC Primetime 15 times a month or more without being a salesman. It's not your job. Your job is to just show the information and not beg somebody to do it. You're not here to be a salesman and convince them. Attend all trainings, non-negotiable, okay? And give it a 2 to 5 year commitment. And welcome aboard. Let's get you set up. Thank you.